our ancestors lived in a world full of danger. They had many things to be afraid of: pain, starvation, wild animals, diseases and whatnot. No doubt, they were leading a life full of fear, tension, anxiety and stress. Today, in contrast, we have all high-tech facilities at our fingertips. We have automatic ovens, washing machines, tumbler dryers, dishwashers, food blenders, vacuum cleaners, television sets, video recorders, and the list goes on. We can travel thousands of miles in a matter of hours. These devices were designed for comfortable living and to make our lives more enjoyable. We are surrounded by all kinds of wealth, which would in fact make our lives free of tension and fear. But take a moment to think, are we really leading a stress-free life? The fact of the matter is, we are surrounded by the gaudy signs of wealth, but we have become so dependent on the artifacts that when they break down, we become aggressive and irritable. And the result is loneliness, unhappiness, anxiety and depression are now as common cold. Never before in history has there been so much sadness, dissatisfaction and frustration as there is today. While in the ancient days, wild animals was the main cause of fear, today probably our society needs each one of us to be frightened. Fear encourages us to accept things we do not like. Fear makes us work that we do not enjoy. Fear makes us spend money on things we neither want nor need. So politicians, industries, advertising agencies, televisions, newspapers all induce fear and tension into the society for their benefit. Politicians and police frighten you of street violence. Doctors frighten you of having regular health checkups. Advertising agencies use fear as means to push the products through the consumers, making them feel that it's a necessity for them. So fear and tension is everywhere and it's constantly used to manipulate us. And when this so-called 20th century blues goes overboard, people get addicted to tranquilizers and sleeping pills to get over it. Strange, but it's true today. The world's biggest addiction problem is not teenagers taking hash, but middle agers taking sedatives. The tranquilizer is replacing tobacco. This will perhaps give us even bigger a problem, as this is supported by the government and the medical community, the sole beneficiary being the drug companies. The popularity of psychotropic drugs has made mental ailments incurable and lifelong disease. People suffering from fear and stress and other mind-related problems has also to undergo the fear and stigma of taking these dangerous, often brain, liver and kidney damaging psychiatric drugs for life. And long-term adverse reactions of these drugs even lead to other lifelong diseases like diabetes, fits or tardive dyskinesia. Unfortunately, only after years of conception, the sufferer realizes that these drugs only work as long as you take them, and once you stop taking them, the symptoms are back again. But by then, you're already addicted to it. And quite obvious, when you keep treating your brain for your mind-related problems, you're never going to arrive at a solution. Even a layperson with a little knowledge in computers would agree that to clear a virus in the computer software, you need not tamper with the hardware or the CPU. Treating a brain with the mind-related problems is like tampering the CPU for clearing the virus in the computer. Unless you use an antivirus and reboot your system, no amount of working on CPU is going to help. Going by the same analogy, you keep treating your brain and your mind-related problems remain as it is or even get worse. Modern medicines believe that man's personality, thought and behavior is nothing but chemical reactions in the brain is fundamentally flawed. Man being merely reduced to animals without soul or spirit is awful. Today, it's been scientifically proved that human beings are not just biochemical machines. Popping in sleeping pills every time the mind goes out of tune is not the effective way of treating one's mind. The powerful entity called mind is different from brain, and it is the mind that controls the brain and body. And mind is controlled by one's belief system. Change your negative beliefs and you can change your life even. Mental ailments are not a great deal at all. Most of the people are unaware of the not so popularized alternative treatment options available to them for the psychological problems. These effective treatment options are not as popularized because there's no drugs involved in it. But these treatments often offer a cure from tension, fear, and stresses. That's right, they cure the mind-related or personality-related problems, and often people can't even believe that such simple therapy procedures would ever cure them of their age-old problems, and that too in such a short duration. People do have problems in life, sometimes very serious. Mental difficulties do exist. People's hopes and dreams can be shattered, and their methods of coping with this can fail. All they need is a support and a newer and better coping mechanism. This may not be a medical problem at all. What you need to understand if you're a caregiver is that they're having enough trouble as it is. More than anything, they need rest and security. Don't tell them they have a psychiatric disease and only a drug can correct. This would only make things worse. I agree, some of the problems which people keep within themselves without sharing with anybody and has taken such a bad shape that they can't even cooperate in a psychotherapy session may have to take psychiatric medication. One would be surprised to note that such incidents are only 1 to 2% of the cases taking psychiatric help. That simply means majority of the cases being controlled by psychotropic drugs has a solution if the individual wishes to make a choice. We normally tend to forget there's always a choice, and we forget that we have the power to choose. And many of us do not make the attempt to choose, because with choice, of course, comes responsibility. You yourself must be the one who takes the responsibility of maximizing your well-being. Think for yourself. Are you killing yourself? If yes, then you have a choice. The big question is, do you want to make the choice and take responsibility for your life? And do you want to come out of this vicious cycle of treating your brain without mind? Most often, talk therapy alone may not work. But when advanced psychodynamic psychotherapeutic procedures with the help of energy psychology techniques and clinical hypnotherapy complemented with batch flower remedies can do wonders, why not give it a try? It can do no harm to you. All it can do to you is it might cure you once and for all. Thank you for listening and wishing you success to stop existing and start living.